company called Say It Now. Now, we are a technology business. We work exclusively in the world of voice. So these are your friends Alexa and Google Assistant. And we've actually done very well over the last few years. We're currently the UK and European reigning champion of the Alexa Cup, which is a global competition which has been put out by Amazon to push forward what's the capabilities of this fantastic new voice platform. I'm going to tell you why today this is such an exciting world in which to operate. I've been waiting for this for a long time. In fact, my entire life, I was born in the 80s, but before that, the only way to interact with machines and computers was through this command line interface, this kind of character mode. And then a little bit later on, there's this idea of a GUI where we could put pictures to make it easier for us to communicate with computers. And then the computers all got connected together. We saw the web. And then further on in the last couple of decades, we've seen the rise of mobile delivering a touch screen interface. And now we're truly living in the world of the voice interface. And we've seen that, we get these big channel shifts over about every kind of 10 or 15 years. And now is very much the time of voice. And it really has come because, we saw Siri arrive in 2011. The Echo arrived in 2014, Google Home 2016. And by 2018, there were more than 500 million devices on planet Earth that people could talk to. Now, the next phase of all this is embedding these voice assistants into every single device that we buy around us, which means that it's predicted that there's going to be more voice-enabled devices on planet Earth than humans by 2026. Now, I've always known this. So this is me in 1988 as an 8-year-old boy, and I knew that the future was us talking to our technology. And how did I know this? The smartest minds in the world, from my eyes at that time, were people who wrote science fiction, and they thought very deeply about the future. And I think a lot of this is the future in which we live today. We are surrounded by highly complex systems which are trying to help us all around. And it seems very obvious that if we are surrounded by many, many complex systems, then the best way to communicate with these intelligent systems is through voice. So it was very, very clear to me that this is always going to happen. And so exactly how will these intelligent systems, these artificial agents, these voice assistants help us? And the way I like to look at this is to look forwards to my 70th birthday. And actually, here's me on my 70th birthday. So I can either live one of two lives. I can live the life that I'm living right now. And on my 70th birthday, I'll be telling stories to my friends, my family, my grandchildren about the life I've lived and the places I've been. And I'll tell a good story. However, if I can harness the power of these virtual assistants, these assistants which are going to be all around me, helping me with my life, then I'll be telling a different story. I'll be telling a better story, a story about a life where I've had more leisure time because all of my my admin scum, the chores that I need to do around the house, like booking the car in for an MOT, booking a babysitter, finding a new mortgage or life insurance, all of these will have been done by my virtual assistant. Going on holiday or finding that serendipitous moment where I can find some time with my best friend to go and meet somewhere there, all of these logistics will have been sorted out by my virtual assistant. So I'm very, very buoyant about what the power of these virtual assistants can do in our world. And why do I know that this is definitely going to happen? So this happens because we know these big guys. We know our friends, Amazon, Apple, Google, are very, very, very good at nudging us, pushing us towards the world they want us to operate within. Because if they are able to get you to choose their virtual assistant, to choose their Alexa, their Siri, or their OK Google, then they will be controlling or playing a large part in your future. They'll be able to give you the best, or kind of their view of the best options for life, the best financial services to choose, and they'll hold an awful lot of power because you'll be within their realm and you will trust that virtual assistant. And they're doing very, very well. Now we've seen that they're going to spit. I don't understand. I'm sorry, she's listening. I'm sorry. The growth of these smart speakers has been phenomenal. They were the fastest selling consumer good ever brought to market. And over the last year, from 20 to 21, we've seen a 25% growth in Germany and 26% in the UK up from in Germany from 16. There's now 20% of German households have a smart speaker. In the UK, it's 43%. And the people that have a smart speaker in their home, they tend to use them as part of their daily routine. They become a part of the family. And it's predicted that by the end of next year, more than half of US consumers will have made a purchase through voice. And we've seen this before. We've seen this. We compare the channel shift with voice. So with mobile, we saw over the last 10 years, mobile has taken half of e-commerce because it's a more frictionless channel. It's easier for you to make these payments, transactions, purchases on mobile. And what we're going to see is in voice, it's going to come faster, not just because we live in a world where technology trends, they move faster than before, but because when you start to engage with a voice assistant, it already has a payment mechanic built in. You've got Amazon Pay built into every Alexa. You've got Google Pay built in. You've got Apple Pay built into Siri. So you're going to have this ubiquitous and kind of frictionless experience when you're looking at voice. So we then built Say It Now. So Say It Now, we are exclusively looking to harness this great power of voice to drive people down the funnel to the point of purchase. And after this great big prize, it's predicted that there's going to be $164 billion worth of voice transactions by 2025, up from 20 billion in 2020. So let's have a look and see what kind of work we've been doing. So one of our cornerstone clients is Diageo. They create spirits and many drinks that you enjoy. And they initially came to us with this idea for a whiskey tasting experience where they wanted to kind of grow advocacy and see whether they could change the buying habits of people when they were in a supermarket looking at 100 different whiskies. And if they could make you choose their whiskey because it had a label on it which says, if you buy this whiskey, it comes free with a tasting experience powered by Alexa. Just say, Alexa, open Talisker Tasting. When you're transported out into, just like going to the distillery, and you're guided through a tasting experience. And this worked very, very well. We supported 3 different types of whiskey. We used the voice of the wife of the chief distiller, so you had a beautiful Scottish accent talking you through, and it worked very well. I'll show you a little bit about how this worked right here.
Alexa, open the Talisker Whiskey Tasting Experience.
Hi again and welcome back to the Talisker Whiskey Tasting Experience.
Firstly, pour a dram of whiskey into a glass. Let's take a moment to look at the colour. Talisker 10-year-old is matured in American oak barrels for a minimum of 10 years to achieve this brilliant golden colour. The use of peat is what gives Talisker this distinctive smokiness. To learn why Talisker tastes so unique, say taste. Or to explore how Talisker is made, say made.
So you can see there how people are transported within their own living rooms to the Isle of Skye to see what it's like to taste this whiskey. And what we're able to get through these voice experiences is very, very granular understanding of people's experiences and how they go through these tasting experiences. We were able to drive an average dwell time of 7.5 minutes. So automated conversations lasting 7.5 minutes per time, where people were engaging, learning more about the brand and kind of building their advocacy and their ability to become brand evangelists. We could see where people were moving through the conversational paths, where they were spending time either in the tasting experience or asking for more brand information. And we could also see which of the 3 brands people were engaging with most, whether it was Talisker 10-year-old, Talisker Skye or Talisker Storm. It was Talisker 10-year-old and the time of day. So we get a lot of data back from these kind of engagements. And so what's going to happen next? So, we've been working with Diageo on this for the last 3 years. In 2020, this was featured of one of Diageo's global innovations in their Taste the Future. They see this approach being very key to their growth over the next decade. And we've made this available in 6 different territories. We've translated this into Spanish, and it's also available on Google Assistant. And also it gets us very close. We work very, very close with Amazon in Seattle, and who give us a visibility on what kind of features are coming up on the Alexa platform. And in the summer, Amazon have 900,000 developers that can build skills for Alexa, and we're one of a very small group that we have access to what's upcoming. And they said, look, can you show off what can be done with our new feature, which is send to phone? And so we then helped them build out this user journey where we have people in home enjoying this whiskey tasting experience, but how do we get them to a point of purchase? And so Diageo and us and the team at Alexa put this together to show how we can drive people to a point of purchase from this tasting experience.
Alexa, open Talisker Tasting.
We're always looking at ways at how we can use our deeply engaging Alexa experience in new and interesting ways.
Firstly, pour a dram of whiskey into a glass. Let's take a moment to look at the colour. Now, on to tasting.
In a time where we want to encourage consumers to go back into the on-trade and into bars and pubs, the send to phone functionality comes at a perfect time because it's going to enable us to be able to marry both the in-home experience and the on-trade experience.
If you enjoyed that, we'd love to offer you 40% off a Talisker 10-year-old in a bar. Would you like us to send a coupon to your phone?
Yes.
So that's how you kind of tie that up together. So we're going to talk now, the big challenge of with voice is how you drive traffic into these voice experiences. So I know that you'll know this, but just a brief recap on the history of channel innovation and digital transformation 101. So in the beginning, there was newspaper adverts, and print adverts were great, and you could try and drive people in store. However, you weren't able to get any kind of attribution. There was this kind of 2 hours to 2 months where people might then take an effect, but you didn't know how well these adverts were working. And so then there was digital publishing, where you put the inventory onto a web page. You were then able to track the click. You get very granular attribution and insight. You know how people are engaging, and you can understand that funnel a lot better. And that's the rise of digital. We all know this. So display ads work. We know that kind of display ads work, and newspaper print ads, they still work, but digital display ads, they work better. So how does this kind of apply to the world of audio and smart speakers? So we know that audio adverts work, but again, there's no kind of understanding about this attribution. How can we deliver granular attribution into the world of audio? So let's have a look at the audio landscape. We've said that there's lots of smart speakers out in the world. That's great. Global, the biggest radio company in Europe, we work very closely with, say that more than 50% of their digital inventory is now consumed on smart speakers. We know that voice transactions are going up, and we know that there's a huge growth in the world of digital audio advertising because there's so much that we can improve. And so we then look at the kind of behavior that people exhibit within their smart speakers. We know people use their smart speakers to listen to a streaming music service or the radio, or to ask questions. So what we've done is we've created a type of advertising product which is specifically aimed at this new type of behavior and this new landscape. So we still use exactly the same audio advert, so the same kind of 30-40 second audio ad spot that we can play on Spotify, on any radio station, on Amazon Music, and so there's no infrastructure requirement there. But at the end of that audio ad, we have a call to action, which is this human voice. So exactly how can, if you want to know more about this product, then just say this back to your smart speaker. And that then begins this voice experience. In the course of about 60 seconds, you can lead people to a transaction. At the end of which we deliver this kind of live data reporting where we can optimize these audio campaigns in flight. So let's look through an example. So this is Simon. Simon is a pizza fan. and he likes to make pizzas with his family on a Friday afternoon. But actually, more often than not, he orders in, and he orders a Domino's pizza. However, if we were looking to change this behavior, and if you look in the corner of Simon's kitchen here, he's got a smart speaker. And so this Friday afternoon, he goes home and he's going to hear a slightly different audio ad while he's listening to the radio in the kitchen. And it's going to see whether we can convert him and drag him away from his habit of Domino's.
It would be perfect if you could comment what we are hearing, because the sound is not transmitting.
Okay, so basically there is a radio ad where sorry, that sounds fancy. So there's a radio ad which basically says, look, we are Pizza Hut, and if you'd like to get 50% off your next order, then just say device to open Pizza Hut deals. It then says Google open Pizza Hut deals, where it says, would you like me to send you a coupon to get 50% off your next order? Then I can send that to your phone. His phone then receives a coupon which he can then apply to his next order. And he's now he's within the Pizza Hut coupon, the CRM system, and is able to they're able to remarket to him, and he's been dragged away from Domino's. And this is the kind of performance report we can get. So if you've ever run an audio campaign, you will not be used to this kind of granular information. We know exactly how many impressions have been served. We know exactly when they've been served, how many people then engage with a back and forward conversation, how much time they spend on the skill, how many of them redeem a particular offer. And so we can then optimize these campaigns during flight, and kind of start to use this an always-on performance mechanic. So I know that you want to sell your Amazon product marketing people. So, talk to me about where are all their Amazon marketing gains. And for us, it's relatively simple. So all we need to understand what products we're trying to sell. So we need the ASIN. We have a platform to very quickly and easily create these Alexa skills. So these are branded environments that guide people to a frictionless voice purchase. And then we have all these partnerships with digital audio providers. So we then can kind of buy and optimize the inventory to drive towards recognition and purchase on these Alexa skills. So we brought this to market, and we had a global media first. In February this year. This was the pharmaceutical company called Bayer and one of their products called Berocca Boost. And we were showing that these could be purchased within within a skill, specifically from an audio ads. I'll talk you through this right now. So there is a man listening to Heart Radio, and he's chopping his carrots. And he hears a radio ad which says, look, it's rainy, it's London, you've been on too many Zoom calls, but we can save your morning. If you would like to find out more or purchase Berocca Boost, it can improve your morning because it contains guarana and caffeine. All you need to do is ask this device to open Berocca Boost. This guy says, Alexa, open Berocca Boost. Alexa says, welcome to Berocca Boost. How can I help? Do you want to find out more or buy the product? Order. And I'm then guided through, would you like to order a package of 20 Berocca Boosts using your Amazon Pay method? Yes, I would. This is the product. It costs £6, including shipping taxes. Do you want to buy it? Yes. That order is then placed. It arrives at this gentleman's house tomorrow. He's delighted. His family are happy. He eats a carrot and carries on with his morning. And carries on, and he uses his morning's radio listening. So this is really cool. And what we've seen here with this campaign, we see, we've optimized now, not like the Talisker example where we're trying to keep people in the skill for a branded experience. We're optimizing towards a golden path to purchase. So people spend about 30 seconds in the skill. The number of people that enter the skill, 23% actually buy a packet of Berocca, and 42% ask for more information about Berocca Boost, because we capture people within the moment where they've got that moment of consideration, and then they enter a simple back and forward flow where they're actually engaging with the brand and the product. So huge engagement and great conversion rates we see here. So what we're seeing here, much like display ads work and digital display works better, audio ads still work. Audio ads work really well. You get all the benefits of awareness, brand uplift, and consideration that you get from audio. But on top of that, with actionable audio ads, they work better because you get attribution, engagement, optimization, and voice commerce. So we have, a platform which delivers kind of three standard kind of products. One is buy it now, very much purchasing, driving people directly to purchase. So specifically purchasing within an Amazon environment to a particular ASIN. We can drive towards a lead generation where we're getting people to download a coupon before purchase or leaving their details like booking a test drive or entering some kind of competition. Or thirdly, we can deliver a deeply engaging brand experience, much like the Talisker example, where we're getting people in their minds up to Scotland to taste the whiskey. So where do we go next? So let's have a look sit back and look at the future. So we've started here with actionable audio ads. So where we're creating it's like a landing page within Voice. The next phase is actionable TV ads, where we're using TV inventory, because we see that 43% of people who have a smart speaker keep it in the living room, and it's a more frictionless, a quicker way to engage. We can drive engagement through attributed TV ads. And then finally, outdoor ads, when we've got people walking around the street, driving around in cars with voice-enabled devices or technology around them. That's what comes next. So we see here we've got Alexa in your car. You're driving along in the morning and you're listening to the radio maybe, and if you want to know the best rates to find out about a new mortgage, you just say, Alexa, open mortgage calculator. And we know that we've got more and more of these devices. In fact, that what Amazon is saying is for every one Echo device that they sell, they're hoping that they sell 9 devices, or 9 devices are sold with Alexa built in. So they're encouraging the kind of the third-party manufacturers to get more Alexas out into the world. We've got these Echo Buds that you see in your ears, Echo Frames, these ability to walk down the street talking to your assistant, and Echo Loop, which is a ring which has got a microphone and a speaker gently built in. You can feel very futuristic wearing your Echo Loop. And these deliver this idea of being able to talk to people when they're out and about, looking for other opportunities in multi-channel campaigns where you can drive an engagement through the always-on voice assistant. And then when people come back home, as I mentioned, you can then attract to people when they are at home looking for an easy and frictionless way to engage with the messages that they're seeing on the TV without having to pick out their smartphone. In summary, we know that this is a frictionless and easy way to communicate with complex systems around us. We work with our conversationalist in residence is a man called Dr. John Reed, who likes to be called Conversation Man, who thinks big and hard about why conversation is so important to us as humans, but also why it is the next great step for our engagement with these complex systems. And if you just think from a human perspective and the way that you live your life, we know that for most people, most of the time, having a chat is still regarded as the most efficient, the most pleasurable, and the most straightforward way to engage. I'd love to see how we can help you harness this new power. If you'd like to stay in touch with what we're doing, then please point to your phone to the screen and you can join our WhatsApp group. Otherwise, I would invite your questions.
Thank you very much for your speech. That was very, very interesting. And I'm sorry for the inconvenience about the audio. The stream wasn't prepared for showing the audio, but I was really impressed how you told us about the spot in real life, and I think it was better than the original. So
thank you. I've got 3 small children that constantly interrupt, so I'm relatively used to multi-threading my thinking.
Perfect. And I was wondering one question before we start with the questions from the audience, and please in German, bitte stellt Fragen, wir freuen uns auf eure Fragen gleich, deswegen legt gerne los. And I was wondering one question about the first TV ad. Was it your twin brother in this ad, or was it yourself, or was it just a lookalike? I was wondering. Was it you? No, was it?
That's me. That's a family morning homeschooling in the middle of coronavirus lockdown. Where it was the most exciting part of Q1, where we allowed a film crew in the house to push this in because we couldn't work with anyone else. It was all real life actors.
So it was your real family?
That's my real family, my real life.
That's very impressive. You have like the TV commercial family, perfect family surrounding. So very good for you, and congratulations to that.
Well, we managed to get them into Campaign magazine, and that campaign is up for 4 Media Week awards now, and kind of best use of audio and best collaboration. And it's nice to be able to get the kids onto the front cover of Campaign magazine so young.
That's very impressive. We have one question from the audience. The question is, how can a brand use those ads?
So really simply, so we need to understand the product that's being sold. We then create a simple Alexa skill, which has a simple golden path which pushes people towards that particular ASIN, that particular product. We then record the audio advert, and then we buy the media and run the media campaign. It's a very similar audio campaign to any audio campaign that's ever been run, but the call to action is to drive to the sale of a particular ASIN.
And another question. Yeah, sorry, please.
So just, I mean, think of it just like any other display campaign, which is pushing towards an optimized microsite, but we're just doing everything in the world of voice and audio.
Another question, if you would prioritize in between marketing and sales, is it more a sales-driven channel, or is it both? Or in the Stereotype projects, do you work together with the marketing team of a brand or the sales team? Could you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so this is very early. So we've got to see this as a brand uplift, a brand response. So we will see this turn into a performance channel over the next couple of years. And right now, the brands that we're working with are using this as, because it's so early, there's still a lot of kind of comms innovation, brand uplift that you get from being an early mover. You get a lot of learning about. Even though you get a small percentage of people engaging with the campaign, it's enough to optimize the campaign in real time, and that gives you the data to then know that if you're sure that this is the way that the world is going, like the brands are working with, like the Unilever, Diageo, then you know that you need to start now optimizing and understanding this channel, so that when the behavior is there, you can then turn it into a performance channel.
Mm-hmm. See, I totally agree with you. This first mover advantage is huge, and there's much to gain from this new approach. I really like that. So we have 2 questions. I look into the chat. Is it possible to personalize the advertisement, or having an individual part, like speak to a possible customer by his name?
Sadly, no, because as a developer within Alexa, you don't get the visibility of any kind of audio or any customer data on the way in. It's you have to build for an anonymized path. You are able, within the audio ad, we work with partners that allow us to deliver dynamic ads, and so the variables there can be things like the weather, the location, the time of day, so that when you're in fact, we use this with that Barocca ad, so that depending on where you were and what time of day and the weather outside, it would say, you are in Hamburg this morning and it is raining. You will probably be more susceptible to a Barocca, or if it was me and I had the same campaign, it would say, you are in London this morning and it is sunny, and then the ad can continue. So we can do some dynamic some dynamic changes on the actual audio ad, but then when we get into the Alexa skill, that has to be relatively generic. But what we can do is within our platform, we can change the content depending on how different conversational paths are performing, and so we can optimize the content over time. But it's still not personalized yet, so that will probably change.
Yes, but still very, very interesting. I would really be impressed if something changes, like the weather or the time of day, within these interactions. I think that's something very very new and impressing. I like that approach.
I mean, it's also the way that that Alexa works. Is that if you have an Alexa device with the screen in it, it will serve you different types of information during the day. So in the evening, it will serve you more recipes to try and get you to engage. In the morning, it will tell you about the weather and your day. So this is all those kind of top level personalizations are still very valuable.
I see. And I think there are very good combinations, for example, with Amazon DSP too, when you have like a sponsored display on weather.com or something like that, and you see ask for blah, blah, blah to Alexa. And I think that there are very interesting combinations I see there. So I learned some new approaches too. One last question, I think, is there, is it useful for every branch? Are there differences between different areas, branches? Do you see more potential somewhere?
So, I mean, it's easier if you're speaking to a particular product rather than a range. So, still kind of menus of restaurants are hard to navigate. If you're trying to choose particular clothes and colors, it's hard to navigate just using your voice. I mean, there's more and more multimodal opportunities where we can use both voice and a screen. But I think the low-hanging fruit right now is if you're able to raise consideration to a product which is easy to understand without having to show images, because we still only got about 20% of all voice assistants or smart speakers have a screen. So the primary audience won't have a screen. So you need to make sure that it's a well-known product. So we've had great success with kind of charity donations, and because people understand that there's a cause and it's a simple mechanic to donate, or for products which have kind of a wide understanding.
I see. There are so many possibilities. I was just thinking about a Bundestagswahl in Germany right now. Why aren't the parties telling on the radio ad, hear more about the program, about the party XYZ? And then you can ask more about the program. That would be a perfect fit. But nobody does it, and it would be so cool. So I would do it just because of the marketing.
If you want to get 20% off your tickets, then just open right here, yes. And then that goes straight. That's a great use case.
There are so many possibilities. I'm looking forward to more exchange of thoughts with you, Charlie. It's always fun talking with you.
I'm looking forward to the party.
Yeah, the Bundestagswahl in Germany, I'm wondering which party this will be.
Okay, we can sample a few.
Okay, so thank you very much for your time, Charlie. Greetings to London, and please send the good weather to Germany too. We don't have it now, but hopefully we'll send us some.
Great. Thank you very much for having me along.
Thank you, bye-bye. So, wir machen jetzt eine kurze Umbaupause von etwa so 13 Minuten machen wir und dann geht's weiter mit den psychologischen Conversion Hacks für mehr Umsatz im E-Commerce von Thomas Gruhle von Leap. Ich glaube, der sitzt in Berlin wahrscheinlich gerade. Da müssen wir hoffentlich nicht so eine lange Leitung verlegen. Da wird es dann ein bisschen schneller losgehen, in ungefähr 12,5 Minuten. Bis gleich.